Welcome back. Game 4 today between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, the Battle of Pennsylvania, a battle that's been pretty one-sided coming into tonight's action, and so a goaltending change was made by Pittsburgh. Sheloves was in the net, even though Stuart Skinner is known as Mr. Game 4, and I saw that in the comments today when I was reporting on Sheloves being the starter. At the other end, of course, you have Vladar. Vladar's had 3 very good games coming into this series, no reason to make a change if you're Philadelphia. Karlsson has a slot chance that's held. We get some pushing. The Penguins had the early jump. One thing that stood out to me in this game was work ethic. I felt like the Penguins today, they brought their work ethic and they met the same level that the Philadelphia Flyers have shown in the first 3 games. I felt like Philly's work ethic wasn't quite at that same level. So, Soderblom has a net feed that's blocked. We get the Crosby sucks chance going early. Apparently, an hour before the game started, Flyers fans were chanting about how much Crosby sucks. So, I mean, you've got to practice. You got to warm that up, right? Shots are 1 apiece at 3.5 minutes. Tippett has a rush chance that's defended. The Penguins were not giving a path to their net at this stage. And it was looking like another low shot total game. And indeed, we did not get to 50 shots. So, yep, we had a lower shot total kind of game. The Flyers forechecking gets to work. Tocchet gave him a talking to during the first commercial break, and clearly you could see that something was off with Philly. The shots are 3-1 for the Penguins, 9 minutes in. Offensive zone penalty by Mantha gives the Flyers a power play. There's an early clear. The Flyers cycle. It's cleared again. Michkov fires one wide. In the end, that's killed off by one last clear at the end. No shots on net for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Penguins then draw a power play, and it takes 5 seconds for it to click. And at 14:24, who else? Crosby. He's been quiet, not quiet today. Crosby gets the goal, Karlsson with the assist, and so it's 1-0 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Flyers look to respond. Things get pushed in a hole by Sheloves. There wasn't as much of that today. I felt like the Flyers, some of that edge, some of that snarl they had in their game just wasn't there tonight. So they did review to see whether or not the Flyers had scored, but it was pretty obvious that puck didn't cross the line. So, no, we did not get a goal for the Flyers there. Penguins pressure with 3.5 minutes left. With 1:48 left, the Flyers get a power play. And at this point, the concussion spotter pulls a Chari. Chari was I believe it was a hit that took place that gets him pulled, and he would return to action. We get back-to-back clears by the Penguins. That gets us to the intermission with the Penguins ahead 1-0. And it felt like that was really important, that Pittsburgh needed to have an advantage at some point in this game. So the Penguins finished the kill. And then at 1:03, Dan Vladar just comes out of the net, and he tried to force something that wasn't there. So Raquel gets the puck, and he beats Vladar to the net, meaning at 1:03, Raquel gets about the easiest goal you're going to get. And it gives the Penguins a very key 2-goal lead. So Vladar probably felt awful there. It's definitely something he wants to be really careful with. And it's one of the reasons why there's that whole 10 the goal that is a meme that exists. Because we do see goaltenders come out to play the puck, and that kind of thing can happen. And then the Penguins nearly add another. The Flyers just completely out of sorts with that turnover goal there. The Penguins would end up going back to the power play, and the penalty kill might have been Philadelphia's best part of the game here. We get a shorthanded 2-on-1. Glendening has a shot that's held. Sanheim then has a one-timer that's caught and held, still during the power play. Then there was a shorthanded Dvorak near a net drive that misses, but it ends up finishing the kill. So I don't think Pittsburgh had a single shot during that power play, and Philadelphia had a majority of the chances. So the Penguins pressure at 5 minutes. Achari was back from protocol at right around this point. Then there's too many Penguins on the ice. Now, Solovyov trying to jump into the Flyers bench, absolutely the funniest thing I've seen in this postseason. It's not close. Solovyov realized there were too many Penguins on the ice, and he turned and dove for the bench. But it's the Flyers bench. So first off, I don't think they'd let him into their bench. And secondly, if you want the referee or the linesman to notice that there's too many men on the ice, great way to do it. Guy jumping into the wrong bench will tell him, why is he trying to trade himself? What's going on there? So at any rate, too many men on the ice, the Flyers with the power play. Forster couldn't bury a rebound and close. Ristolainen has a point shot that deflects wide. Tippett has a shot that's blocked. That power play's killed off. 2 shots on net. So the Flyers power play, which has been good in this series, tonight had a bit more of a setback. Penguins pressure at 8.5 minutes. Hathaway's denied on a 2-on-1 rush. The Penguins are starting to get in those passing lanes, starting to show some confidence. And I thought they were kind of playing the game Philadelphia's played in the first 3 games in this one tonight. Shots were 5 apiece with 8 minutes left. We get a scrum and a hold by Shelovs. Crosby has a rush chance, that's held. The Penguins draw a power play. There's an early clear. Penguins then set up. They cycle. There's a shorthanded fast break by Forster. Shelovs holds there. And they were talking about Shelovs and all of the, all of his accolades. And it's always nice when I hear he won the Calder Cup in Abbotsford and he was the MVP. He's the only reason Abbotsford won the Calder Cup last year. I'm being absolutely honest. Without Shelovs, so he can be a good goaltender in big games. So that power play ends up being killed off. No shots on net. We get pressure by Philadelphia after the kill. Then at 15:40, Philadelphia gets on the board. It's Barkey with his first career playoff goal. It's a net feed that's tipped in from the doorstep, and that gets the crowd going. Zegras and York with the assist. So 15:40 into the second period, the Pittsburgh lead has been cut to 2-1. The Penguins look to respond. Letang is denied as the Penguins get some pressure. Things get pushed in a hole by Vladar, and in the final minute, the Flyers hit a post. Not the net, but they hit the post, and so it stays 2-1 for Pittsburgh through 40 minutes. Third period, Konechny has a rush chance, that's held. The Penguins pressure at 2 minutes. Good forechecking by Pittsburgh, which I don't feel like has been as consistently good in this series for them as it has been for Philly. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4, and the Penguins take advantage here. They press during the 4-on-4, and they would get a goal. At 4:27, Letang restores their 2-goal lead at 3-1. He fires it from the slot, 4-on-4. Crosby and Raquel with the assist. So 4:27 into the third period, we have a 3-1 lead for Pittsburgh. Sanheim is a net feed this block. The shots are only 2-1 for Pittsburgh at 6 minutes. So despite not getting a lot of shots and a lot of good defense out there, Pittsburgh still with the 2-goal lead. Then at 7 minutes and 3 seconds, Konechny snaps one top shelf from the right circle to make it 3-2. Dvorak and Sanheim with the assists. The Penguins would look to respond. Tippett has a rush chance. That's kicked aside. York breaks up a 2-on-1 opportunity for the Penguins. There's a glove save on Tippett from in close. The teams trade turnovers. Chinakhov fires one wide from the slot. I was surprised that one didn't go in. The Flyers pressure with 5.5 minutes left. The shots were 5-4 for Pittsburgh with 5 minutes left. Wotherspoon has a point shot. That's held. The Flyers pressure. They're kept to the outside. Goalie pull happens with 1 minute and 55 seconds left. The Penguins guilty of an icing with 1 minute and 21 seconds left. And then at 19:04, Connor Dewar hits the empty net. The assists to Lizotte and Achari. So that makes it 4-2. You pull the goalie again to no avail. And then at the horn, a lot of punching. So we'll see if that rolls over into the next game. My guess is the dislike between these teams will roll over at least a little bit. But I feel like the Flyers need to bring back some snarl into their game in the next one. So, 4-2 win. So the Flyers still have the lead, but it's 3-1. And this is where people in the comments are going to be reverse sweep incoming. Every time that you'll get those comments. Letang with 3 shots in this game. Achari with 6 hits. Drysdale 4 shots. And Zegras 5 hits. That is the number 5. Okay. Shelovs 25 saves on 27 shots. I thought he was very good. I thought he was very sound in the net positionally. And Vladar 17 saves on 20 shots. Outside of the turnover that led to the goal that arguably is the difference in this, Vladar had a good night, but 17 saves on 20 shots. He needs to be just that little bit better. Just that little bit better. Pittsburgh went 1 for 3 on the power play. Philadelphia went 0 for 3. So that's something they got to fix going into Game 5. The hits, surprisingly, Pittsburgh out-hits Philadelphia in Philadelphia 36-29. So that's something that Philadelphia really needs to work on. I did not feel that snarl with Philadelphia, that desperate hockey. I didn't feel that the Flyers played their game. Worked out fine for Pittsburgh. They got the win. Now they're going home. Philadelphia does not want this extended to 6. They really need to finish this in 5 because otherwise you're going to have a Pittsburgh team that's going to have some confidence. They're going to have some momentum. And they've got those guys, Crosby, Malkin, and others who are, Hall of Fame bound. And you don't want to let those guys get their confidence and start to really ramp up the energy level. So the Flyers need to end this one in Pittsburgh on Monday. Can they? That's what we'll find out Monday night. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.